Still here.
Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Wake up every day and say your affirmations. Go. Happiness and kindness is a choice. Wake up.
Where it goes down. Good evening. We're gonna give it a minute and allow people to come into the room before we get started. Yeah, I want to check to make sure because I got Amina on the line, so I can't see anything just yet. And I wanted to ask about J1 too.
I think she's still off the grid.
Is she? Okay.
Okay, I see you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and we're posted on the page.
All right. Oh, I guess we can go ahead and get started. This is Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by God Level. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a mother. I am a nurse. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a podcast. I am everything good. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
John Skywalker, the Sly Talker here, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I'm a father who also has a new hip-hop album out on all major streaming platforms called The Law of Affirmations. That is right there. Look at all that. Mystical, spiritual. Yeah. And real, genuine. It's 5 tracks, real easy, y'all. Tidal, Amazon, Apple Music. Go ahead and listen to that. Get those vibrations in your system. They good vibes. Salute.
Salute. King Newborn, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Peace, peace, peace. This King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And just for giggles. I know, I just paused for a dramatic fact. I am.
Yeah, I was waiting on you to say that. Diamond, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Hetepu Nebu. I am Sabah Diamond, owner of the Abode of Osar Institute of Personal Excellence, teacher of spiritual science, so many things, personal trainer, nutritionist, exercise physiologist, engineer, all kind of things. But mostly I am here for you and let you know I am always of service. As my brother King Newborn would always say, we are always of service. And so if you're looking to, know a little bit more about yourself, about life, and want to master that, look me up. All right. Etepu, Uncle Jassinet.
All right. Before we get started, this is the part of the show where we do pump up your business. Tonight we have Amina on the line. She is going to take out some time to pump up her business, which is called Piece of Cake. John, you want to go ahead and roll that footage? Miss Amina, you're on.
All right. Peace and blessings, everyone. So as I say for a piece of cake, I always say peace and love and piece of cake. So Piece of Cake Enterprises is a multifaceted company. We have 3 main focal points, which are entertainment, education, and empowerment. I started the business back in 2013 after having an experience of working with children for many years and having a slight burnout. And then I started finding ways, creative, fun ways that I could do what I love without it feeling like work. And so children's entertainment was the way for me to do that. It morphed into me also studying a number of things and learning how to teach family life skills and reproductive health. So we also do education through community workshops as well as entertainment. So the general things, bounce houses, games, face painting, mascots, characters, all of those things. But when we want to help empower the community, we do workshops, facilitation, and I also do motivational speaking and empowerment speaking. So other than that, I'm always available for people to have personal conversations if they're ever in need of advice. I have a couple of people who come to me asking for advice about different things, and just to kind of help with your spirits, just to make life sweet. So that's the motive. So peace, love, and piece of cake.
All right, thank you. Do y'all have any questions for Miss Amina?
Yeah, on that popcorn, when you rent out the popcorn maker, do we have to supply our own popcorn, or does that come with it?
No, the popcorn machine includes the actual rental and all supplies for up to 50 persons.
Wow.
If anything extra is needed, then yeah, it's included.
So-
Same thing with the snow cone machine, and then we're in the process of investing in an industrial cotton candy machine. But right now, I have 2 small tabletop cotton candy machines, inflatable movie screen. I actually have a lot more than was seen in the video. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I just happen to love popcorn, so I was especially interested in
Mm.
that.
Any other questions you all have for Miss Amina? How can they get in contact with you?
So you can find us. We're actually Googleable. I don't know if that's a word. but
It is now.
It is.
You can find us on Google. So just type in Piece of Cake Enterprises and it will pop up. You can find us on Facebook, Piece of Cake ENT, as well as Piece of Cake Conversations. And our website is everythingpieceofcake.com.
Okay, in addition to you being able to come on and pump up your business, I want you to go ahead and upload all of that onto the group page so people can know where they can find you. Bless you. And then also, where are you located? Where are you located?
So I'm currently serving and providing services in the South Carolina and North Carolina area. If in the event there were large programs or anything like that, anybody wanted to let me know of festivals out of state, especially if it's like Black, celebrating Black things, so like Kwanzaa, things of that nature, I would love to come to any of those type of festivals.
Did y'all hear that? She would love to come to any type of festivals dealing with anything of African American.
Yeah, we have to support our own and really show like homage to our heritage. So
Yes.
I love those type of things.
Oh my God. Do y'all have any other questions?
Yes. Do you travel? Where are you located, first of all?
South Carolina.
Okay, so yeah, I guess it's too much to ask to come to California. But because actually Kwanzaa, the actual founder of Kwanzaa is in my circle, Dr. Malana Karenga. He's actually one of our elders in my community. So I chop it up with him all the time, and I'm actually teaching one of his books on Mahat. I'm actually facilitating a class that we're doing a book study, but he would so we do Kwanzaa pretty big here with the founder of Kwanzaa in our presence.
That's amazing.
That is.
I say.
That is. Well, I want to thank you for taking our time to come on our show and pump up your business. This is Amina from Piece of Cake, and please don't forget to put all of your information on the group page so it can be right there posted for everyone to see, and even put your website and how to contact you into the comments of the show so people can see it there too as well.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I say she is such light and radiant.
Man.
Yeah, her vibe is just so it's always on point. Love Amina, always on point.
Yeah.
Amina
Peace
is
to the
that
queen.
girl.
Peace,
I hope
peace,
she
peace.
get a lot of business. Speaking of business, I don't know if you all seen. I put in the group chat that she, the last girl that came on and pumped her business, Dana's Decor, she secured 2 jobs after coming on. Literally, like,
Yeah.
if that don't make you feel good, like what?
And let me get this straight. And so we let people advertise at no charge right here, right?
Yes.
All right, y'all heard that. That's it's free.
It's free.
All we asking you to do is just come in and advertise, not a charge.
Yeah.
And look at what you can
Just
get
share
out
the
of that.
page. Share
That's
the
it.
page.
Just share the page. Yeah.
That's
Share
it.
the page.
Share the page.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. If you are
Wow.
pumping up your business, you can use our page to put all your information up there. And then next week we'll do that for the same person who's
That's
pumping up
right.
their business. Yeah. Put it
We
out
are of service for the
there.
community.
Yes.
That's right. That's what being
And
of service is about right there.
Yes, sir.
next
Yes,
week we
sir.
do have I'm probably gonna say her name wrong. Centrell.
That's right.
I did. I
Central.
said it right. I said it right. Okay, great.
Central.
Centrell. She has candles. I've actually already bought some, so I'm waiting for mine's in the mail. So I bought one for me and a good friend of mine. I'm probably gonna pronounce this one wrong. Elliptics experiment. That's one of my friends. You know what I'm trying to say, John.
Elliptical.
Elliptic. Yeah,
You said
Eucalyptus.
elliptical.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah,
Eucalyptic
experiment.
experiment. Yes.
Oh, she's watching, by the way.
You
Hey,
said-
Central.
Stop for
Yeah.
a second. Hold on. Did you say elliptical?
I did not say elliptical. You did.
I didn't
You better
say.
run that camera back. You better run that camera back. You better run
No, I heard you say elliptics or
Yeah,
elliptical.
I heard some L's in there. I heard some L's. Right.
It's okay.
I heard some L's.
You know what? But I already warned you before even saying the word that I'm gonna get it wrong. It's just certain words that my mouth just like it's just not working.
God level.
Yeah.
Smile right quick. Just smile. There we go. All better.
Yeah, peace.
I love that smile.
Thank you.
And she chiming already. Look at her.
There she is. That's
Yeah,
her.
She chiming already.
Beyonce.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I told her that I was going to talk about her business tonight. We actually just started talking on the group page last night with one of the questions John had posted. And, you know, I went to go and friend her, seen her website for her business, went on there, now here's the crazy thing. Earlier that day, I was online looking for some candles. And to see it right there, I was actually Instacarting because I don't like being bothered with people at the grocery store. And I was looking through to see what kind of candles I can buy for the house. I didn't see anything I liked. But as soon as I jumped on her website, I seen a couple things and I bought it. Just like that. So it should be here Wednesday and I cannot wait. I really can't. So yeah, pump up your business. Centrell, we look forward to seeing you next Sunday, honey. But anyway, y'all ready to move on? Y'all ready to get started?
Are we ready to get started?
I know.
Yeah, because it's actually
Ready.
Yeah, the warm up has been real nice.
The warm up is real nice. We're gonna try to get out of here on time tonight. We're gonna try to get out of here on time tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Tonight's topic is dating versus courting. I'm not a good person to talk to about dating or courting right now. I'm just in that space where I'm just at peace.
Actually, you are, because you know what? Whatever your experience is, that's what we want to hear.
Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm not dating.
Okay.
I'm not dating. I did have a guy that was it was long. I've been here since May. He's known that I've been here since May. This is the conversation that me and Diamond had. I'm just not feeling any dating right now. I love my peace.
Okay.
I like to come home and it's just me and my daughter. We chilling, we kicking it. It's just us, you know. I'm just enjoying my peace right now. So yeah, John, this your show.
All right, so audience members, this is not my show.
Why? Why you say tread softly?
This is things that people don't want to talk about. That's the show. I'm just gonna say this. I felt like this was a good transition because our last one was about co-parenting, and it made me think about how we became parents through mating
in the first place.
Right. So I felt like that was a natural transition, especially in terms of how it gets to that point of separation. It's like we forget why we did it in the first place to some degree. And I've been observing the ways in which we do it. And sometimes I'm a little baffled because it looks like we're very confused. The landscape has definitely changed, right? So I figured let's talk about this. Let's talk about the dating scene, but also why we don't talk about courting. Courting is not really part of our lingo, and I've noticed that. I'm out here looking at the same words as I see more articles about dating, more books about dating than I do about courting. And I'm like, all right, I was fortunate enough to come across that word a long time ago and understand that meaning. Now, no one really taught me how to court, but I understood the rules and I understood the objectives of courting. And so I knew courting had a place and it had an outcome. So I was observant enough to know that. So when I look at what we're doing now, it's just like, all right, are we not aware that there's another option here to do all this stuff? Right. So I'm not going to get too much in all that yet, but I do want to start off with identifying the obvious question, which is what is the difference between courting and dating? And I'm going to sample from our group because the responses, oh man, grateful for the responses.
Yes,
They were nice. Those were some nice.
Hey, John, real quick, can we post that banner?
Let's see. Oh yeah, the one about, let's see, where is that at?
And then we have a question also.
there you go. What does courting mean?
Ooh. Yes, we're gonna hop into that. All right. So I'm gonna read off the first respondent. I think courting is the stage after dating, in my opinion. I think most people call it dating exclusively. You date several people, you only court one. Could be wrong, but hey, I'm married. What do I know? Another says, courting to me is the intent behind the dating. Like showing that you're in it for the long haul, being intentional with every action done and word spoken, letting the person know through actions that you want them in their entirety. Dating can be anything from casual to courting. Another says, courting means you're on your way to marriage. It's light years beyond dating. Yeah. Dating is the phase of casually getting to know a person you may eventually have a romantic relationship. Courting is when you are romantically involved with the person with the intention of marrying them. Another says, dating is getting to know someone. Courting is the trail run before marriage. And then, of course, God level. I've heard the term dating to be married, but never heard a man actually say he is courting someone.
I've never heard any of our men say they were courting. It was dating to be married. That's the term I heard.
But you only heard that because it was presented to him by whom?
Let me ask y'all, do y'all think that's a regional word? Because I've only heard the word like courting being used by people in the South. But then when I moved out of the South, I've never heard that. I've only heard dating. It's just like how supper is used on the East Coast. But in other places there's just dinner. There's not that fourth main meal called supper. So do you think it's regional? Because the whole, because I've heard some of my elders use the word, oh yeah, are you quoting her? So yeah, which made it sound like there was a pursuit. Are you pursuing her?
Yeah.
Are you
I was
pursuing
gonna
her?
say it's cultural, right? But it's also intergenerational. There's a history with this. It's the question of. That's why I feel like we know we've had a taste of it because we're in this European culture, right? And Africans didn't invent that word, so we've been with this word because it's the question of how did they used to connect back? How did they hook up back then? Oh, I'm gonna court Mary J.
Yeah.
So for us as a people in the dominant culture, we take on their lingo and some of those practices. The idea of a chaperone. That
wasn't us.
The idea of a chaperone, right? But I've seen the cinema too. I've seen the cinema of how we used to do the same. It makes you wonder. There was no dating back then, okay? There was no dating. That wasn't a thing. You wanted to get you courting. Hey,
He was pursuing one person though. Yeah.
right, and it was one person. There wasn't no dating did not exist. So we got here, right? We just got here. There was a cultural shift, and it just unfolded in front of our eyes. You didn't see magazines and movies about this.
No.
But in our generation, you did, and it was normalized, right? One mode of connecting that led to marriage, and you knew it led that the rules were clear. You couldn't bend those rules. Now we're not using that lingo anymore. Cultural shift right there. It was just like water. Just
I want to challenge was being said only from the standpoint, like you said, the cultural shift. The cultural shift, the way about it came, we had some wives that were pretty upset about who was picked for them to marry. And cultural shift for the information being passed down was take your time, choose wisely, just date. But it didn't necessarily have something to do with our culture per se. It had something to do with the fact. You say what?
I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it had something to do with someone else's struggle within their culture because they didn't feel like they was treated fairly or equal within the marriage. It had nothing to do with. I'm trying to be politically correct as I say this. It has nothing to do with our culture. Had nothing to do with our culture. Once again, we tend to pick up everybody else's ideology, identity, and their culture. So therefore, we're kind of lost on the way we do things in our culture.
Well, I'd like to even challenge if we even have a culture, and
that's true too. That's true too.
I like to challenge that.
In this westernized society, that is correct, sir. That is correct, because how can you have a culture if you don't even know how to identify who you are? But I ain't trying to get off subject. I'm just saying. I just
understood. Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. But dating,
God level.
Dating is what again? What is the meaning of dating? Dating can be anything from what y'all just going out, having a good time, kicking, possibly sex. And if you're just dating, then you're dating not just one person, you're dating multiple people.
Is that your definition? Or is that the basis of what we building off of? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Yeah. Because a lot of the things you were saying, I don't even think they
when you're dating more than one.
Yeah, well, you can't.
Well, not always.
When you're dating more than one.
So we're really talking about a vehicle here, okay? Like that's the best way to put it. Is we're talking about a vehicle in which we're connecting. You got a vehicle called courtship, and you got a vehicle called dating. All right.
Dating,
so this
can have multiple.
You can use this vehicle however you want to. That's the thing.
That's it.
You can use dating. You can use dating for intimacy. You could use dating for networking. Anything goes with dating. So that's why it's so complicated, because we can't even agree on the rules, and that's because there really weren't any rules. It's just.
So let me ask you something, John. I got to throw this out. I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick. So we throwing the word dating around, which is a vehicle within itself. But if you look at the principles of dating and you look up the definition of, if I say this correctly, please correct me, polyamory.
That's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Is that dating?
Okay. Basically the same thing.
Well, okay. Now here's the thing.
Well,
now, polyamory is a relationship.
Give me together. Yeah.
Polyamory is relationship.
Yeah, relationship, not marriage.
Yeah,
there's already an agreement established in polyamory and polygamy.
Yes.
There's already an agreement established. In dating, there's no agreement established in dating. The options are being kept open.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it is. You're keeping your options open.
When you're dating, you're keeping your options open.
When you're dating, yeah.
Okay, so when it's polyamory, and of course I'm just being devil's advocate right here. With polyamory,
You're in a
you come
relationship.
to a understanding that it's okay for me to, because you're being upfront, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're being upfront, you're being open, you're being honest.
Mhm.
So if you're dating, should you be open, upfront, honest, and let it be known to either parties that, hey, you are a option. Don't know if you're a winning option. Don't know you're at the beginning of the list, at the end of the list, but you are an option. Because I'm trying to see what works best for me.
I don't know. Sometimes I think at the beginning of the meeting, when someone meets under those circumstances, I think that's an unspoken understanding that
Right.
we're just kind of seeing what if we like each other right now. I think people know that there's an option that they are an option right now. And I know when I was in a dating stage, it's been a long time, by the way. Um, when I was anytime I had dated someone, whether we met on an online dating app or whatever, when we came face to face, it was always, we kind of knew that there was other options there, especially coming from the online dating, because a lot of people are in your DMs in the online dating apps. So I know I ain't the only one, but I made it this far. A lot of guys didn't make it this far. It's okay, so I'm cool. I'm in a good spot, you know. But who is it that I'm competing with here? If I really like you, but then there's somebody else that you're competing with as well. And so that way, when it all comes narrow, when I narrow it down to you, like it's just you now, and then you say it's just me now. Now we're actually in a relationship. We're no longer dating. There's a relationship now. You see. So that's just the way that I had experienced that, but not sure if I was feeling it wrong, seeing it wrong, experiencing it wrong, or whatever. So that's why I'm here just listening to try to see. It's been a long time since I've been in that. Yeah.
I am listening. That's it. I'm listening.
Say.
This is it. That's it.
All right. So we should address that one too. That was another question that I posed in the group. Hold on for a minute. Let me bring up those results. We had 6 respondents. We had 6 respondents for that. All right, and then we had 1 comment, and that was the one where you and Centrell.
We was going. We was going. You want to read all of it? Go right ahead.
So what I found intriguing is nobody said yes to this question. Have you ever been courted or courted within the past 5 years? No one said yes. 33% said unsure. 67% said no. Yeah. Right.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just throwing something in the air. Again, devil's advocate. So, so when you go from dating, relationship, courting, right? Even within the process, however the formula is supposed to be mapped out, blueprint, whatever. At one point, do you realize that, from a woman's perspective, that you're entering into monogamy? By doing so, you're putting that man first. And by saying putting that man first, that man is putting that woman first. Yeah. So when it comes to your work boyfriend or anybody you had of the past that you were supposed to have been like cool with, oh no, he's like my play brother. It's monogamy now. That's dead.
Look, see,
because you just basically turn to this man, and a man turns to a woman as well, and you saying that basically you're exclusive. So anything I really need outside of myself, I'm supposed to be able to turn to you, and that goes both ways. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm throwing something out there, just shooting an idea in the air, and I hope to see something stick. I know, John, I know you got something. John. I know you got something
from the last one.
Yeah, I really think that depends on the character of the individuals involved, because if we're mature here, okay.
There we go.
And then now I am going to be a little ageist here. I'm sorry, young folks. I'm sorry, because I was there, but I'm here. So when you're younger, that don't really pan out too well. I was like that, where
Mhm.
okay, I didn't want my ex-wife to have any extra friends that had my same body parts, and likewise. But then as you
Mhm.
get older, you kind of come to that realization that hey, I could be friends with somebody and it not be like that.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
could be a business relationship. This could be a creative relationship. This could be a relationship that is non-sexual, non-romantic. It can be that. And we have to just, you mature into that, right? So that tends to spill over into monogamy. And you start to recognize, like, all right, cool. I need to be aware of who's in her net, who's in her circle.
There we
Man,
go. Okay, now you
wait,
get the details.
right? So, but this is a mature man. He's asking the questions. He's being investigative, right? And it's not to be antagonizing. This is like, all right, hey, this is grown man-ish right here. I need to know who you deal with, and I need to know the nature of that relationship respectfully.
Bars.
Not to
Bars.
change, but I just need to be aware
There we
and know
go.
how to maneuver for myself. This is information, right?
Yeah.
It takes maturity to be that way, right?
Yeah.
You're younger, you ain't thinking like that. We're possessive, we're controlling, and because we ain't matured to that level, right? We're not there yet. Now, maybe some, if they've come across the right kind of wisdom, but a lot of us aren't. We're out here just figuring it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
I still want to point out though. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Saba.
No, I was just gonna say, is there still some level of insecurity that may be influencing the need to know? I'm just asking. I'm not saying there is, or is it? Because I believe in trust. Number one,
Mhm.
me and my queen, we interact. Even every now and then, she's from Baltimore, and I'm from Texas, and we up here meeting up in California, but we've came, many ways, and she's actually 5 years older than I am, and so I know she's got some very solid relationships made up of, both genders, of males and
Bars.
females.
Bars.
She's been married a couple of times and so forth, and and like I say, she knows, like with me and my ex-wife, how tight we are, and she and my ex-wife are pretty tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a relationship that she has that's like that, but I do know that she's still there because she shared kids with her ex-husband, and so I know they still talk. They have to talk, and there are times that she also she does, she have to take care of him, not have to take care of him, but she does things still to assist him if she's in Baltimore, because he had fell ill at one time, and still, and her and her daughter are actually working to get him on his feet, so they assist and things like that. I don't ask, questions about that. She just tell me, well, yeah, well, I saw such and such, and had to take him, run him over to his doctor's appointment and stuff like that while I was there, and she's way in Baltimore and I'm still over here in California. I don't, for me, it's just nothing in me that comes up to where I have to worry about what's going on and things like that. And I'm not sure what that is, but if that's just maturity, or it's just me in a different mindset, or what, but I think at some point, we end up being so secure with ourselves to where, and I just know for me, if there's ever a time when she presents or something comes up to where she has been, um, unfaithful or anything like that, I'd waste no time nipping it in the bud, because this whole time, I done gave all, all, and there's no need, there'd be no question about it. But and I'm pretty sure she feels the same too,
I like
with
to
me.
ask you a question about that. So,
Yes, sir.
it sounds like you have a plan. Like in terms of like it sounds like you've planned your relationship in a sense. Like you have enough wisdom to be like, all right, if this happens, then this. Versus with other, so it's a big topic because, or a big issue because a lot of us don't know what to do when someone cheats on us, and it sounds like
Yeah.
you developed experience or the wisdom to know what to do.
Alpha.
Yeah, and the thing is that the key is learning how to be connected without being attached.
There you go.
And and that's the key, because
Yes.
some people lose themselves in relationships. They become so attached to where, oh, they really mean it when say I would die without this person and blah blah. I don't want nobody to feel like that about me. I
Right.
really don't. I don't want you to feel like you can't live and breathe without me. I don't want that. You know, I want us, because we've only come together to add enjoyment, increase the enjoyment in our lives. And you didn't come to
Facts.
me to make me happy. I'm not here to make you happy. That's something
That part.
attained on our own. So, and it's just that, with me and my queen, we have this flow. We literally have this big sphere of harmonious energy, and she does really well with taking care of me, because she knows that I get so busy, and I turn around, if I need something, it's right there, because she didn't already thought of it. It's almost like remember on Color Purple when Mr. lost his sock or something like that, or he was looking for something, and Celie already had it, like
Right.
here it
Right.
is. And so I mean, it's just kind of like how she thinks about me even before I know what it is, and then vice versa, when it comes to those kind of things. And she knows she's gotten relaxed, and she knows she used to panic when she didn't have a job or something like that. But she knows, she's like, oh, you know what? I'm cool, because I know as long as he's good, we're good.
Mm.
So
Can you
she
say that
trusts
last
me in
part
that kind
again?
of way.
Can you say that last part again? What was that last part?
The last part about what her not
What?
having it, like when she don't have a job, she knows I got her. She relaxes. She knows I got her. You
But she
know,
know if
It-
you good,
she
y'all
knows
good.
if I'm good, then we good. You
Mm.
know,
Mm.
she knows that, and I've never failed her in that, and she's never failed me. It's just when she gets a job, it just adds to what we have.
There you
You
go.
know,
Okay.
so
In addition.
yeah, that's it. That's it. And right now she get a job to keep busy. Because we it's just kind of how we flow. That energy just flows. We don't worry about anything. The household is peaceful. I don't come home to arguments, and we don't do stuff like that.
Sound like
You
true
know?
currency.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say
that's
so.
a flow. That's a
Hmm.
frequency
Yeah,
right there, baby.
that's
Yeah.
true currency right
I
there.
love it.
Yeah.
Enjoy
So
that.
so that's what I'm saying. Is just like, so I don't worry about her relationships with anybody else, any other males or whatever. I know what we have, and right now what we have takes so much. I wouldn't even say it's not focused to where it's draining focus, but it's our lifestyle that we have. This is our main thing in both of our
Mm.
lives. This is our main thing. So I know anything else, whatever else, is minute. It's
There you
minute.
go. That's
You see?
pause. That's pause. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's why I was asking, like, at what point do we get to that point?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is
Anybody
God
got-
level. Who am I speaking with?
It's Amina.
Hi, Amina.
I wanted to call and chime in because I'm listening to everything Brother Dion is saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that sounds so beautiful. But it's like John was pointing out, like there's a level of wisdom and maturity where he can live like that. I think a lot of young people want to skip stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to what King Newborn was saying, where people kind of go into it and they're dating, and then they stumble upon like this moment in time where it's like, oh, I think I'm ready for monogamy. And for a lot of females, women, sometimes they reach that point before men do,
Yes, we do.
right? And then it becomes a matter of forced monogamy, right? Where women are trying to create this sense of urgency for a man to lock them down. Because for women, we come to know that when we like the men that we like, we know that they have other options, but we don't want them to explore their options beyond us, right?
Right.
And a lot of women, a lot of females, a lot of immature females have this sense of thinking that they can force a man into monogamy, they can stop him from exploring his options, lock and load in only on her, and then they can monopolize on him. And then they'll try to force him to be only with her and never see anything beyond her, even if she isn't his best option. And then when
She's
they
about to
do,
hurt some feelings.
he's going to still explore other options because he realizes that she's not his best option because she's not fulfilling all of the needs that he has, and it's not always sexually. Then you see her getting upset, wanting to go through phones, and this is not a male or female thing, so it's the same thing with partners. Like John was saying, there being the whole idea of not wanting your significant other to have a friend of the opposite sex, a friend of someone who has similar, member as you do. Because there's this level of, yes, insecurity. Yes, you don't fully trust this person, but at the end of the day, it's also realizing that, they do have options, but sometimes people will ride the coattails. So I feel like when it comes to dating, you have to beware. You definitely need to be intentional. There should be some level of courtship, and we should be going into it knowing that we're not looking for anybody to complete us, but we're looking for people who help inspire us to complete ourselves, that we can share the best version of ourselves with them as we grow into that best version of ourselves. But a lot of times that's not what's happening. So like I said, what we keep seeing happening is people unintentionally dating, a lot of times for the purpose of intimacy, for the purpose of having arm candy, for the purpose of having a beard or a purse, you know what I'm saying? So that people aren't asking them questions about their progress in life, like, dang, you still don't got nobody? Because society puts pressure on us. So people cave to that pressure. But at the end of the day, I really do think we need to start going about dating more intentionally. We need to start being more selective, because I like that analogy of the car. When we look at valuations, if you're going to go buy a car, do you want a car that has had 4 or 5 different drivers? Why?
There you go.
Why or why not? You want something newer. You want something that's tested and reliable. You're going to find out the specs of the car, and make sure it fits your needs. You might want a specific car for a specific reason. Some people want a sports car, you know what I'm saying? Some people might want, a luxury vehicle just to ride and cruise around. Some people might want XYZ for whatever reason. And me, I happen to be in favor of alternative relationships. So poly, for me, particular polygamy, I think it is helpful for a man to be able to have more than one wife. I firmly believe that it can potentially stabilize the Black community. I think it's offensive that we keep sharing this behavior, this lifestyle, what we're sharing in as baby daddies.
Yeah.
Certain people are sleeping with other people's cousins and all that. And the idea of trying to force a man into being monogamous and having him to deny another woman the right to be a queen, trying to make her to stay a mistress, I think that's selfish. But those are the things I think we need to be talking about as we're dating. And I think more men should be able to firmly say, I am dating with the intention of being serious with you, but I am also interested in polygamy later on, if that's their thing. Whatever the case may be. So that's my 2 cents. I'm about to get off.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Man, peace to the queen. Peace to the queen.
I always have to wonder. How old is she? Is she over 30?
Slightly. I think she's like 31. She's young. Yeah, she's younger.
She's a very, very wise in her years. She's very wise.
Very mature.
As if she's very experienced in life. But I can see that she has really, really paid
she dropped
a lot of attention.
Doors. Yes, she did.
She paid a lot of attention in her very short life. So I just commend you, Amina.
Yeah, I want to say, brother Saba, Diamond, I want to point out, just like I pointed out earlier, the jewels that she is dropping, in my opinion, it sounds like she has some elders around her. She has a covenant somewhere, like seriously. And this is why I always give homage and pay homage to you, personally, because our families don't have the elders around anymore. We have the youth coming up trying to tell the elders and the parents what to do instead of vice versa. There's nothing being passed down. There's no even generational wealth. There's no knowledge. There's no information. There's like even this topic that we have right now. There's nobody telling us how to date or court. Everything is based off of feeling and emotion. Well, if that's what you feel, if that's what your heart leads you to believe,
But How many of us have actually seen a healthy relationship and what it looks like up close and personal?
You mean besides the Cosby Show?
Thank you.
Mm.
Besides the Cosby Show, how many of us have actually seen a healthy relationship up front, close and personal?
Well, I want to point out myself. I haven't seen one, but I've seen what a non-healthy relationship looks like.
Mm.
So, in other words, we
How
know
can
what we
know
don't
what
want.
we haven't seen?
Yeah, we know what we don't want.
Pause.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I know what you
And
look like
we
all
learned
day
that by
long.
trial and error, but how can we mimic something that we haven't seen except on
You
TV?
just said
And
it.
we've always been taught that's television.
Well, I know that a lot of people would reference their maybe their grandparents or great grandparents who have seemed to be, who were together for 70 something years and so forth. But you have to understand that what those people went through and end up being, and they end up tolerating each other, the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And so because I know
Yeah.
that there are, if you're there listening, they went through a lot to learn to love each other unconditionally and just really tolerate because they begin to understand each other. But it's, of course, it could be after they've gotten so up in age to where they can't do that stuff they used to do anyway. So like, well, here we go, and I don't feel like starting over, so I might as well just go ahead and deal with you. So it's a lot of that stuff there. So you'll see them actually working through that. But if you really dig into the history of the man, I mean, and this is just what I've heard personally in some stories, that how the woman just tolerated his, having multiple women on the side, and he would
Because he
come
was
home, and
providing.
yeah, and she knew what he was out doing, but she had to keep her head down and deal with work with the kids, and still raise the kids and keep her home and keep the kids from feeling that bump, and so I mean, I've seen, and even sometimes what he may have, I've heard a story where he had to deal with her going through drug addiction and all this other kind of stuff, and he held it down for her until she got off them streets, and finally settled down. So trust me, there's none of this that comes without its challenges, but then can you mature, can you evolve even beyond those challenges so that you can truly find love, or is it going to take you out? Most people, it takes them out, especially
Right.
nowadays. They just not built like that these days.
No.
Mm.
They just not built
Well,
like that.
Well, even more importantly, I mean, you got computers in your pockets now, so
Yeah.
your access to not just information,
Your
but to
access
people
to
around the
different,
world
yeah,
is
different things.
very high.
Makes it
So,
very easy.
like Sabadam said, and John Master Skywalker and Amina, sometimes we mature faster than another person, even in the dating process, and sometimes that person can really show us that, are you still on the same? It's 2 weeks later, it's a month later. Your vision hasn't changed, your thought process hasn't changed. Or matter of fact, are you even taking the time out to see the worth and value in me to even want to change, to want to adapt, to want to be a part of? Because like both of the Sabadam and Master Skywalker says, it's our maturity that we bring it to the table. And I ain't saying men, I'm saying man or woman. When you bring that certain level of wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and maturity to the table, it will expose you. It was either going to make you step up or step away.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
you sometimes get complacent because you feel like, if I do just enough, I might succeed at what I'm doing. And you can force monogamy on either gender. You understand what I'm saying? And you might find yourself in a situationship because he or she don't really want to be there for real, but they have, like Sabadam says, an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to step away because I know you now. I'm gonna deal with your crap. Know your do's and don'ts. It's just all bad though. But even with doing all of this ourselves as adults, we are indirectly teaching our children the definition of dating and courting.
Let me ask you this, Master Skywalker. Would you say that dating, courting, and then monogamy, I guess, could be into a relationship. Are those stages? Are we looking at stages, or are we looking at just separate things?
It seems like a little
Like
bit of
baby.
everything. A little
Yeah.
bit of everything, right? And I say that it's hard to just make it distinguished to just one, because there's so much uncertainty as to the nature of the connection in the first place that will either lead it to let's say stages, right? So it might be different things, right? And then that different thing has a stage. So for example, you may be using dating as a vehicle to just have sex, but you could also use that vehicle, if you're intentional enough, you can use that vehicle to acquire marriage, monogamy, right? So it's like, all right, cool, dating is what I did to get to this phase in my relationship. And even then, it's like, in monogamy, we still use the term dating as an activity to classify a way that we're still bonding. So you're married, but you say, yeah, we're going out on a date. It's Friday, we're gonna go out on a date, right? And so it's like, even within the context of monogamy, what does it mean? Because we're using dating inside monogamy and outside of monogamy, right? So it just seems like this very subjective way in which we bond, where anything can happen, right? And there's various objectives. Some will say, oh, I'm using dating to get to know this person, right? Some are just saying, hey, I'm using dating just to have fun. I don't even care about the person. Just let them take my experience, and they just
free ride.
Free
ride,
right?
Free dinner,
right? And so that's the space in which we're kind of operating from as well, in terms of like the turmoil. We see all these podcasts. Much love to all the podcasters out there that talk about this.
Peace.
But they have a job because of this phenomenon where there's so much dysfunction in dating because no one can agree on it. And it's being, in a sense, I don't want to say it's being weaponized, but it is being.
But it is.
It is. There is no loyalty. The loyalty.
You're saying dating, yeah.
No
dating
one
is definitely weaponized.
Loyal to anyone but themselves.
Well,
let me finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Men are out here dating several women at the same time, putting them all in situationships, got all of them competing for the same man, who's probably 9 times out of 10 can't even bring half of what they already acquired to the table. This is why so many this is why so many Black women are marrying down instead of marrying up, because hey, Black women, we are excelling in education, business. We don't have much to pick from.
Lies. And I'm gonna challenge everything you just said.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so if you're saying, well, I mean, there is statistics out there.
I don't know how you gonna challenge that shit, but go right ahead.
For women, I mean, we're not gonna make it personal. We're gonna keep it.
We're not making it personal. It is what it is.
But listen,
there's not too many of you all out there.
For the women that chase education versus family, she's getting up in her latter years. Anything past 30 is a critical position for her. For women that chase their own business, she getting into her latter years and she thinking about family later. That's not a good thing, because at that time her eggs aren't as fertile as they are when she's in her
probably
early
already
20s.
got kids right now.
Even if she got, okay, let's take that point. Let me take what you just said.
For him to get it right and to get it together. And she didn't. And guess what? She moved on and did her. This is what so many women are doing right now to this day. Instead of choosing to be in a relationship with a man who's not even worth it, they're choosing themselves.
No, she needs to choose better, period. It ain't
How
about
do you
choosing
choose better?
What you mean?
Woo!
When you take the time out and you say that you're an adult.
So it's her fault?
Wait a minute. Time out. You just said that the woman
choose
is taking account.
Better, it's her fault. So you're blaming her.
Now, like you just interrupted Sabadam and said, can I speak? Can I speak? Please, Queen, can I speak?
Go ahead.
When you say that you're taking full accountability to chase your career, your business, and your education, that's the same accountability when it comes to choosing your partner. It's the same accountability. There's nobody blaming nobody. And if we are going to do a blame, the blame is the accountability on the individual that continues to pick the wrong mate. That's it. At the end of the day, you can't keep pointing the finger because you keep picking the same prototype that didn't work for you in the past. It's not going to work in the future.
You don't. You've never met a con artist before?
Man or woman. Man or woman. It doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Even if you make, just like Sabadama says, the moment you realize, oh, we playing game, cut dry, I gotta go. Period. No attachment. You don't play a game, because at the end of the day, you're in charge of your world, your life, not the man or the woman outside of you. At what point do you hold yourself accountable? I can't put it on none of the women that I've dated or been with or had children, but I can't put it on them. That's all on me. And vice versa for the woman. So if you're dating down, maybe you're dating down because you're actually dating your ramifications of truly who you are. These are facts.
In some instance, yes.
Well, even outside of those instances,
don't blame the
women.
Okay,
try to
that's
use,
right.
Don't blame
nobody. Don't blame the woman.
I'm not blaming women. I say
because
individual.
have you heard of wolves in sheep clothes?
He's saying
wolves
he's not
in
saying
sheep
the woman.
clothes.
He's saying,
okay.
God level. He's
All right,
saying he's saying the individual.
Yeah, you
so,
making it personal, God
Okay,
level.
I'm not
God
making it
level.
No. I'm gonna tell you why he's correct. God level. I'm gonna tell you why he's correct. My ex-fiance. Remember that? I took responsibility for that whole thing.
Really?
Not well. Okay, let me rephrase it. I took responsibility for my choice, and matter of fact, you weren't part of the conversation. So you remember when you were kind of jealous that we were bonding. I talked about that.
I was jealous.
Well, it wasn't really jealous, but it was just
I thought I was happy for you. I thought I was happy for you.
And I thought I was happy.
Yeah.
She don't remember. She don't remember.
I don't remember.
You don't remember. It's okay. We remember. But we had that conversation, right? We had that conversation about how I needed to realize that I chose that situation. And I couldn't blame her for being her. I still did the choosing.
You went in like captains.
Right. And so I had to take accountability for how did I approach that relationship. So that's usually the key issues that we don't want to take accountability. That's what he's saying. He's not saying the man or a woman thing. He's saying individual. So I got an example right here of what he's saying.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I got a little hot.
Yeah, we saw that.
You know what?
I've never hold on. Time out.
And for all our listeners that are chimed in on this is supposed to be about dating and courting. And here is part of the problem what we're facing right now. We're making it real personal.
Not making it personal.
We're making it real personal until after the fact. When we make these certain mistakes, or we follow the cliche, or we don't pay attention when it comes time to do corrective decision making, then this is when we say everybody fits the same criteria, so they can't match me on such and such, such and such, and such and such. And if I'm lying, there would be no reason for God level to point out that she appreciates the fact of the woman that she has become versus the woman that she was. Everybody go through certain things to learn.
Yes. But let me say this. I think what I can understand the emotional concern given by the Neteret here. Neteret is another word for goddess. I can understand that, and this is because oftentimes when dating and then moving into the phase of courting, we don't really know enough about ourselves and our own needs to really understand what it is that we're truly pursuing. So a lot of times, if we think about the criteria that we choose somebody, it's about how much money they got. Sometimes it's about resources, right? And it's also about how they look, and also in a big way, it's about how they make us feel in the moment. You know, is it somebody that, oh, this person listens to me, they understand me, we have a lot in common. So they use all these things to determine if this person is the person that they want to go ahead and settle down with. And those should not be the criteria. That, you know, but this is how people make choices when they're choosing mates these days. And so when we think about that career, highly educated woman, really, what are her needs? I understand why she say that they end up dating down, because dating down, they have found the men that's available to them. Because the thing about it is, if you get another man that's doing the same thing she's doing, he's too busy for her and she's too busy for him. They're not available to one another. You see? So we have to understand this yin and yang thing. If she's career focused, then he needs to be more home focused.
There
Because
it is.
if they're both
There
career
it
focused,
is.
ain't nobody at home. Then the home falls apart anyway. And if they're both home
Yeah.
focused, then nobody's out getting the resources. You see? So this is how these things. So even a highly educated, high career oriented man, he also so-called dates down. He's not really dating down. He's dating in his complement. He's dating his complement is what's happening. Because she, that's why he wants her to stay home and just take care of the kids and take care of home and things like that, and be there when he gets there, because he's out taking care of the world, and he needs, and so she needs to be there taking care of the home life, his sanctuary and so forth, and he'll
That is
provide for her.
balance.
Yeah, and it's all about balance. And I think so for
Yeah.
these highly career oriented, so-called making it independent women, to expect to have a man of the same status, I mean, let's get real. That's not your compliment. That's not your compliment. That's your reflection, which means they're going to be doing the same thing you're doing, and you're not going to be available to one another. So we need to learn how to find our complement. We can only do that by understanding our own personal needs, and then seeing if we can. So in other words, when we talk about our needs, we're being honest about our weaknesses, the areas where we fall short because we're so highly focused on career and getting money. Then what are our weaknesses? Where are we limited? Because you're gonna be limited. You're gonna be limited in other areas. So we have to find a complement that's gonna actually be strong in those areas where you're not, so that you can so they can complement you. And I don't think that's the way people are thinking when it comes to dating, when they're trying to choose a mate. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. But I hear you though. I
They
hear
want
you,
someone
brother. I hear
like them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're
Mhm.
saying.
exactly.
Yeah. If you got two headstrong people they're career oriented, home is going to be a mess,
Mhm.
especially if children are involved. I get that. I get it.
You only
Absolutely.
can have one president in a company.
Mm.
That too. And don't forget why it's the female lioness that goes out to hunt. She goes out, she does all the hunting. She
Right.
and it looks like she does the heavy lifting, but since the male is the strongest, he's back protecting the children.
Yeah.
So she leaves the best and the most and the strongest to protect the children. So she goes out and hunts. But then to make sure he's okay, when she makes her kill, he comes and get the first bite. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
got to
saying that's
maintain it.
So even if
that's
a woman is the breadwinner, as long as she's still giving that man in a home that respect, because sometimes now I've seen, hold on, that when women are the breadwinner in a home, they have a lack of respect for the man in the home because he's not bringing in as much money as them, which can
I've seen that too.
contribute to the destruction of the relationship. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've seen
I've
So
that.
let me ask you
seen it.
this, God level. So
Go ahead.
based off of that God level, so who would be to blame then? I'm not blaming. I'm just saying who would be to blame then.
Yeah.
You know the reason
Not
why I'm
gonna
asking that
answer
is because
I'm not going to answer
from a
that because that all
that's
depends
fine.
on how that all depends on how now if they was in a relationship and when he met her she was already making that kind of money and she still continued or chose to deal with him and then resented him afterward, then it would be her fault. Now if they're in a relationship and they have goals, and she's supposed to go get it first, and then he's supposed to go get it, or however way that works out. She can't blame him if he doesn't want to come up.
Come up to what? I just want to put this out. I'm going to say from my perspective, what I'm understanding in
So what is he
society now. In society now, we're making this strictly the relationship about who has the power to make money. We're making all these relationships about who has the power to make money, and then when we make it about just the money, we're saying that that's what we're dating for. Yeah, you gotta eat. You can eat off of you making 40,000 and I'm making 40,000. That's 80,000 in 1 year. So it ain't really about. You can eat off of 40,000 a year,
depending on where you live.
That's true. Depending on where you live.
Depending on where you live.
Depending on where you live. At the
same time, it ain't necessarily what you make; it's what you keep. Some people don't even know how to save money. Some people live outside of their means. So even with that, you're still trying to find your complement. So even if she is making more money, do you think he really cares about your money?
Well, now I'm not gonna lie. Some guys have really exploited that. Women who are these days I see a lot of that. I see some guys who are pretty good and capable of contributing, but they just choose not to. They're not even trying. And I'm saying there's no children at home, and but she's out doing everything. I have a close friend now, another couple who's close to me and my queen, and but he just does pretty much nothing. But she's always out. Every time she's out, she thinks of him. She's always buying things for him and things like that, and taking it back to him. But
he doesn't even appreciate it.
Well, I wouldn't say he doesn't appreciate it. I wouldn't say that he goes out of his way to show that he appreciates it. He doesn't do that, but I can say he appreciates it because he's still there, and he's still enjoying the fruits of her labor.
This is what I had said earlier.
So she doesn't have a man; she has a son.
Well, I see it in a way, but she still sees that she sees him as a king. That's how she refers to him, still as a king. But again, to each his own. If that's what that completes her world, then that's all good too. But that's just one example. But all in all, it's like he's saying, we definitely have to not necessarily. We can't deny the resources that we need. Somebody needs to be bringing home the resources. We have couples that actually equally work. They go out into their 9 to 5s and they come home and have that family life like that, to where they're both contributing. Then we have some that's a little skewed. Still, somebody's making more money than somebody else. But if she ever feels like, since I'm making more money than him, then and I'm going to start to look down on him, then she needs to check herself.
Accountability.
Yeah, she needs to check herself. Yeah, because I can tell you, there's nothing more that hurts a man than to know that he's not the breadwinner. And I mean the men who are looking to truly be the providers and things and live up to his perceived role as a man, which is being a provider and things like that. Because we know how society looks at you when you're not the one providing. When the family fails, it's the man's fault. If their family is not doing, if their family ends up on the street, it's the man. Everybody looks to the man, period. So go ahead, beloved. I see you. I see your wheels turning.
Yeah, because a man does need to feel wanted. He does need to feel needed in a relationship. But if he knows he's going to feel some kind of way later on down the line, dating a woman who's making 3 times as much as him, he should not enter into that relationship.
Well, sometimes it don't start out like that. Sometimes it's circumstantial and it ends up like that. I've seen that too, to where he started out being okay, and then just life for him took a turn, and then it puts her on top. I know for me and my queen, sometimes because I'm a business owner, I'm not a career person. I'm a business owner, and I've since I've lived here in the last 10 years, I've had one job, and it was really an explorative job to go and see what the market is in that particular field. And then I quit and went out and started my own business. So the thing is that, but because of that, sometimes I can take a dip in my income. But right when that happens, she's increasing hers. And then when mine increases, it goes above hers and stuff. So we do like this often, but we always
Currency.
we always got it made, and it don't nobody fuss, because she knows she dealing with a king, none, without a doubt, in no uncertain terms, she knows she dealing with a king, so so that's the thing, and we don't have any bad habits around here. We don't drink, don't smoke.
Who am I speaking with?
It's Amina again.
Hi, Amina.
Hey, Amina.
Hey, y'all. I am listening. This is great dialogue. Very great dialogue. But I think the most important thing that we have to keep going back to is it comes down to a matter of each individual having knowledge of self. When you have an understanding of who you are, what your values are, what your boundaries are, what your desires are, you attract, like Brother Diamond was saying, you attract either whether you're going to get a reflection of you or you're going to find somebody that compliments you. But so many of us go into dating without having knowledge of self, or we're still in the process of finding ourselves. So we find ourselves getting people who have aspects of ourselves that we haven't quite discovered are us. So like Sister Renee says, for a lot of times that translates to a woman eventually realizing I don't have to be with him because I need to choose me. And so sometimes when women are in that process, and I can only speak from the experience of being a woman, I can share what men have shared with me. I can share what I have observed, and perceived that goes on within the realm of a man, right? But I definitely see more women leaving from relationships and saying, that time I chose me. And it just comes down to a matter of we have got to start cultivating ourselves and having knowledge of self. So for me, like I said earlier, I teach reproductive health, and when I have workshops with young people, I'm constantly telling them to do the same thing, right? Date themselves, take yourself out, have dedicated moments of time where you're working on getting to know yourself. Now, most people, when they go on dates, that's what they do. They have dedicated moments of time where they're trying to get to know this other person, share experiences, and this. When you date yourself, you're taking set aside time to get to know yourself or to have a specific experience with yourself, so that when other people come along, they can't validate or invalidate you. They can only compliment and give confirmation and affirmation as to who you are. And so I think it really comes down to a matter of us knowing ourselves. For me, I feel like I got to a point where I knew from my past relationship what I didn't want. Got back into the scene. I was already like, okay, I still didn't really know exactly what I wanted, but I knew more about what I didn't want. And what I knew I didn't want was to be somebody's little friend, situationship, on again, off again person for around 8 years. So that's what I did in my last relationship. So I was like, no, whoever pursues me this time, because I believe women should be able to pursue men. I believe in it. So I was like, even if I find myself interested in somebody and I go and shoot my shot, this person, their response needs to be along the lines of they are dating with the intentions of being married, because I was not trying to be somebody's little friend forever. Because to me, after a certain age, being a boyfriend or a girlfriend, that's just very immature to me. I think you can say, yeah, this is my friend, this is not, but like the whole boyfriend, girlfriend thing, I was like, no, I'm not trying to be that. But knowledge of self is so critical. Once you come to know yourself, you're going to attract better. Once you come to know yourself and you have consistently worked on yourself, you will develop a sense of discernment. So I look at it like
accountability.
Eyes and different bugs come, they're attracted to life. But we as people, we're not just, alike just by itself. We have the ability to reject the things that we don't want.
So even when we got suitors who are calling themselves, they might even match themselves as someone that's courting us. But when you talk to them and you start to vet them, and you know what questions are asked so that you can see if their values line up with yours, then you find out that you attract better, or that even the ones that are attracted, you're able to, shun them away because no, I'm sorry, but you're not worthy of my life. You're not worthy of my life. You don't compliment me. I don't need you in my life. So I think that's something that is very necessary. And the last thing I wanted to say was something that really is funny because of this time of the year. You got a lot of people who are being pressured to go and meet parents. And at one point in time, meeting the parents was an act of courting. When you're serious about somebody, you would take them to meet your family because then your family could also help you to vet this person. They can find out who is this person, who's their people, where they're from, what kind of mindset they got, all this. Nowadays, people are taking other people around to meet the family. It means nothing. This is just so y'all can see that I got somebody, so that you can see that I'm of XYZ orientation, so that you can see that I got a baddie, or whatever the case may be. Like, there's no real values going on a lot of times with people meeting the family. So we need to return back to that of having like it takes a village mindset, even when it comes to courtship, so that we can start helping to facilitate healthier relationships. But people got to be willing to have others come in before relationships are formed during the vetting process. So it's not having to call people after turmoil has happened in relationships, because it does take a village. So I just wanted to share that.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate
Excellent.
it.
Excellent. Again, love her energy.
Always.
And again,
Always.
yeah. And again, you see how she keeps going back to talking about about knowing ourselves, about understanding ourselves. And because we don't even know, our whole lives is going to be based on how much we know and understand ourselves. Even in the Kemetic temples is written in big words that says know thyself.
Know thyself. Yep.
So this it has a lot to do with the quality at which you experience life and whatever components of life, whether it's your relationship with intimate relationships, or relationship with family members and friends and so forth. It's all about what you know about yourself. Sometimes we put up with stuff that has nothing to do with us, and it's the confusion that we seem to get an attitude towards, and we don't realize that. It's that confusion because it has nothing to do with us, so we're confused. Why is this here and blah, blah, blah. Well, it has nothing to do with you in the first place. It's of no consequence to you, and you didn't know that because you don't know enough about yourself. So yeah, so yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Amina, for your wisdom, young lady.
Confession time. Confession time. I was already feeling some kind of way about the topic, because I'm just not there. I'm not there in that space. I am still healing from the last. So just listening to all these things, I've just had a flood of memories, and I did kind of snap at you, brother, just a tad bit when you blame. That did something to me, because it's like it is. Let me finish. So it did something to me, because I don't. Both parties at the end of the day are going to be at blame here. Both parties are at fault. Both. It's not one person against the other. Both parties are at fault. That woman is at fault for resenting that man who she knew didn't have as much as her, but still took him on. He's at fault for entering into that relationship with a woman that made 3 times as much as him and got comfortable and thinking he was just going to be taken care of, or no matter what the situation may have been, both parties are at fault. So I apologize for snapping at you. We don't usually do that on here. That's not us. That's not how we move. That's not how we go about things. So
it's good for the ratings.
Yes. It's good for the ratings, but I know backstage we would have been like, sis, what was all that about? So let me just go ahead and put it out there now. Like I That's why when I asked who was taking the lead tonight, because I already knew how I felt about the topic itself, but when John brought it to me, I was like, yeah, let's go for it. I said tonight, this is your show. I just know where I'm at right now concerning dating and courting. I'm not involved in none of that. I'm at peace. So I was really learning. I really don't have a whole lot of input. I'm just at peace right now and still healing. That's it.
And peace is good. Peace is good. Being at peace is really good.
Yes. That's it. So my apologies, brother.
Apology accepted. But even when you have peace, your peace is always challenged to make sure you standing on what you say. I wasn't challenging you, and I didn't even point blame on anybody. I always look at stuff from a transparent standpoint. Then also, I like to play devil's advocate a little bit. I like to challenge the ideas of what's being said to provoke actual thought, because 9 times out of 10, not based off exactly in alignment with Amina has said. Most of the times when we deflect, it's really something internally that we dealing with. It has nothing to do with the other person. So it does come back around full circle to accountability, because it's something that we solely don't want to deal with ourselves, within ourselves. So we present it as it's someone else's fault, or they need to fix them, or they knew they shouldn't have did this, that, and the third. But when you hold yourself accountable, you have no problem saying, well, you know what? Since I know better, I'm gonna do better, and since I'm doing better, I don't have to pick this. And that's very, 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 very important.
Yes.
So with knowledge of self, you do hold yourself at a higher standard of accountability when it comes to friends, families, business-ships, relationships, courting, dating. You hold yourself at a higher level of accountability, because with that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the one thing that you're supposed to know, what equates your life in all your decisions, choices, and executions. So that's very important. I appreciate it, Amina. Amina, you if I could give you some flowers, you know what I'm saying, just to show you that we appreciate your support, appreciate you calling in, appreciate you since day one.
Yes.
We've actually shown what's the word I'm gonna look for? Equality. Because of the show, I think you stated that you made some changes in your life, and because of you continue to add value to our show. So just want to big up you. Like it's all love, and we appreciate you, Queen.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
All right, it's coming up on 8:30. Well, it was 8:22. Do we have any closing statements?
Well, I say we got to get to the good stuff, which is what does it look like? What does this courting thing looks like?
So is this a part 2 coming?
I don't know. Are we just doing 1:30, hour and a half today? Because
we do have a guest for next week, because we're doing a particular topic for next week.
Okay.
But we can always come back and revisit this.
I would like to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to point out what healthy dating and healthy courting actually looks like, which I think Sabadama was going to
bring that down to your children so they don't have to go through confusion.
Exactly. That's it.
Sir.
Because we're talking about something extremely important, and like I said, even in my my coaching business, my own coach was saying you have to narrow down your niche, and I was like, well, I do this. He said it's 3 things, three levels of coaching. He said there's either wealth, health, or relationships. And I said, well, I kind of do all. He said, no, you got to narrow it down. I said, if I had to wrap all of what I do in one of those, it would be relationships, because it's all about relationships. It's about how you are relating to yourself when it comes to health. It's about your relationships with your body, and then if you're talking about wealth, it is your relationship with money. It's still a relationship.
Currency.
Yes. And then now but so it's all about how we relate to others. So it's a very important thing. And now what we're talking about is in our social lives, and whatever level of social activity we're talking about. Then we're talking about, we have to talk about the moral value that we bring to these relationships. This is something that we never think about. How are we going to behave? Because remember, your behavior is a cause that's going to bring about a certain effect. And a lot of times we don't like the effects that our behaviors bring. We end up blaming and we say it's somebody's fault. And I think to say it's the fault is a very strong word, because it's an unfolding event, and that's looking to be guided and navigated. And so in order for it to, if we want to straighten it out, then we have to interject another behavior that's going to bring it back into a steady flow. You know what I'm saying? Then our behavior is going to make it rock or keep it steady. So we have to learn how to master interjecting the right energy and the right behavior. So our moral values comes into this. So this is, it's very important, because we're learning, we're having a conversation about what does it take to really initiate a healthy relationship. What does that take from me? You know, how, so we already talked about knowing and understanding yourself. Now, how do you start to look for that complementary characteristics from other people? What does that look like? So that's why I say it's so much more to talk about on this subject.
It is.
So much more to talk about.
Let's do it at a later date, because I don't know. I
Absolutely.
think I was a little bit triggered today doing this show. Just a little bit, you know. Thank you. Just a little bit. And I just wasn't ready, because I'm not in that space.
Yeah.
It's not even a thought. It's not a desire. I'm just enjoying my peace right now. That's it.
I say.
John, you have anything you want to say before we close?
Love someone today, even if it's yourself.
King Newborn, you have anything you want to say before we close?
What's today's date?
The 20th.
20th. That's Wisdom Cipher. All being born to wisdom. Shout out to Amina. You definitely brought wisdom to the show tonight.
I say.
Absolutely. Please be advised, I am from St. Louis, Missouri, which is considered the most dangerous city in America. However, my intellect allows me to sit with these intellectuals with a dialect that is understood by the masses. I am professional and hood, so the message will always be understood, no matter what class you're in. I am so sick and tired of hearing men scream, "I want my family back," yet continue to move like they don't have their families back. They want to wait till you not looking back to come running back from the lack they experienced when they turned their back. Your family was your abundance, brother, but you preferred the lack of no one truly having your back. Or did you think you could leave and she would always take you back? You had a ride or die chick until she died trying to get you back. Now upon your return, things are not like you thought. She is not on track. You want to resurrect the dead, my brother, but ain't no coming back. You a fool to think that she in the same mind space you left her in, and twice the fool to think that she would accept you back in the same mind frame you left her with. You expect things to change, to be the same, but you didn't change. Now you're searching your pockets for some change. You got to catch that bus, go back from where you came from. Mad that you can no longer tame her or entertain her, or did you forget how you blamed her as you was walking out the door to become a whore? You went back to the streets and lost your home. Different faces every night instead of daddy's home. You want to be a Mac daddy texting these hoes like run me that addy, talking about the hand that feeds you so that these women will reply they don't need you. You really trying to disturb her peace? But keep in mind, my brother, that's my sister, and I keep a peace. So if you're not coming to peace, remember that last piece I just said. In St. Louis, it is common to come up missing and or this is God level, things people don't want to talk about. I want to thank everybody for coming, jumping in on tonight's live. Oh yeah, that's how I ended it off. I didn't want to say the word.
I say.
Because you was looking, you was like, okay, where's the... Yeah, I didn't want to say the word. Thank you, Centria. All right, we will see y'all back here next week.
Got it.